Hello, everyone. I'm Ethan Bach, the founding CEO of Alt Ethos Experiential Design Studio.
And my name is Eric Robert Gallimore. I am the experiential designer at Alt Ethos Experiential Design Studio.
And we really focus on interactive, immersive installations. We work with XR, we create custom immersive worlds, and we do temporary and permanent installations. And today we really leverage ourselves as thought leaders so that we can future-proof and pandemic and anything else the world throws at us, proof the industry.
I like that, anything the world throws at us. So why experiential? We all have been dreaming about the future since the early 20th century. We can look back at writers like Orson Welles and R. Buckminster Fuller. We all were influenced by the Jetsons from the 1960s on, and we even watched movies like Back to the Future and dreamed of hoverboards. Well, finally, the future is here. We have driverless cars coming onto the market. We are now creating virtual worlds. So I think that now is the time to discuss future possibilities and designs for our cities and for our communities.
And here we are now in this time where, COVID hit us and it knocked us into our homes way more than any of us were comfortable. But it drove us to this digital technology and this communication and really opened up new possibilities. So what's happening though is when people are going out, they really expect a digital experience. So if you're not providing that, then you're out of the loop and people really want to do that. And something to share with you, like we're going to talk about the metaverse later on, that Seoul is now the first city government that's going full in on the metaverse. Las Vegas is going full in on the metaverse, and we'll be working on that project later on. But let's talk about some things that we're bringing for you today as well.
So, city engagement reinvented. When I joined Alt Ethos about 6 months ago, this came from an illustrious career in the last 10 years in the fine arts and building public art world. So I'm sort of a newcomer to the industry, but what really excites me about these worlds of possibilities is that we really can design what we want, and our clients want that. And I think everybody in humanity is looking for beautiful, intelligent, and forward-thinking designs that are going to help us to get to these ideas like the hoverboards or like these, flying cars and the Jetsons. So I am excited to join this team of visionary leaders and then make these possibilities a reality. So it's going to take people like architects, designers, artists, and fabricators to take us there. How do we get there? We start with the design phase. So we like to take a holistic view and use design that works. It's all about the user experience, but in order to get to that experience, we have to take into consideration people, business, technology, and design in a whole wonderful world of ideas that come with that. So for us, what happens when you listen? What do you mean? We listen to our clients. The first thing we do is create a design phase, and we come through with creative strategy and research. We listen to their ideas and what their end goals are, and then we take their concepts and then bring them forward to a creation. We also have to, of course, consider these hardware and technological steps to get to that point. So we also like to identify our goals. For this project right here that we're showing on the far left, this is one of our clients called the Adaman Group, and they're redesigning an entire alleyway. When they first came to us, they have this great little just simple vision of an archway. And then they wanted to celebrate the story of who they are because they set off fireworks every year on the top of Pikes Peak on January 1st, excuse me, for the New Year's. They've been doing it for 100 years. So when they came to Alt Ethos, they were at that first phase. Over time, through our research, through listening to our partners and ideating, we came up with what is something possible, something that's going to blow everyone's mind. And this is where we're designing a 110 LED lumen chandelier curtain hanging between two alleys that is also being able to be controlled by the user through their smartphones.
And I'll be honest, like when I first met with the client on this one, I didn't know if it was possible. So, we have a great team who is dedicated and knowledgeable in this field. So I just went to my team and we did some research and we went to our vendors and we found the right solution for our clients that will not only withstand the harsh weather of Colorado and the winds that are going to happen there, and will last over time. So but our major thing that we're really looking at is that all of our stuff that we do is bringing joy and connection through design innovation. So that's always our end goal. But when we talk about the technology and everything, we talk about the longevity. Now, I've been involved in technology over 2 decades. So that gives me a little bit of an insight in there. And there's certain pieces of resources and stuff that we use, and we know how to look for those bits of equipment and technology that are really going to last. We also offer our clients a 5-year warranty so that we make sure that we're not just leaving dead technology after installation if anything needs to be monitored. And we monitor regularly, or we go on site to repair, but most of it we handle remotely, which is a huge advantage when doing these permanent public installations. The other thing that we really look at is testing. So we test it in the shop, and we do a lot of just quality testing and making sure that everything is going to be fully resistant and that will last the test of time and whatever use is happening with the public. The third thing that we really focus on is the client always wants that ROI, like how many people, how does this really affect the location that we're putting it in? How is it driving the economy in that location? How is it uplifting the community? So what we do is we use trackable software and hardware solution. We're using a camera that's monitoring the area. We put it up before the installation so you can see how many people are naturally walking through the area. And then we put it up after the installation so you can see what the increase in traffic and how people are lingering, and sort of to reiterate that stickiness that is happening where the community is actually coming down, people are coming from out of town, and that they're shopping more in the area. So a future look, we're going to look at, there's a lot of things that changed for us, as well as I'm sure all of you during the pandemic, but we immediately went into working in the metaverse, working in digital worlds, providing virtual events with people who are walking around immersive environments as avatars. So we're really going to look at that. And we started saying like, well, what if we could connect this virtual world to the physical world? So we're creating something called super hybrid. We'll talk more about that later, but we're really meshing the virtual world and the physical world in a seamless, connective way. So here's an image of Pathos Metaverse. We've been hosting conferences here and speakers, and we also are custom creating locations for people in the digital world. So there's a lot of fun happening there. There's a lot of different things we can do. If you look in the bottom right, that's a custom made world that we're currently prototyping for Anythink libraries. It's just going to be an extension of their library, because a lot of people have mobility issues, or they want to have a bigger reach overall.
And this is one of my favorite projects, another one that we're working on with our partners at Anythink Library. So on the left, you'll see a render of a Core 10 steel structure that we're building. That also includes some polycarbonate resin, the blue structure going through there. Now, when we talked to this client, we listened to what they had to say, and they were really interested in STEM or STEAM teaching, bringing in these ideas of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And so when we designed the sculpture, we designed it to continue the theme of Anythink's love of trees, and also their idea to talk about astronomy. So the render on the left will have constellations perforating through the steel and allowing for viewers to kind of see these beautiful constellations that's over the night sky here in Colorado. Now, of course, us being Alt Ethos, it wasn't enough to just have a physical build that talked about technology and science. We also took that and brought it into our metaverse world. So on the right-hand side, you can see a beautiful image of one of our renders in our metaverse world, where we're also building a replica and a little bit of a more of a creative stretch of this world where Anythink libraries can go into this space and have their clients take a look at it and explore and play and learn. Now, we use this physical sculpture to kind of start as a starting point into this metaverse world. So this is kind of where we're starting to play with that idea of super hybrid. When you have something physical in the real world, and at the same time, you have something that can exist in a virtual world. Now, I have to say, this is one of the dreamiest clients you could ever imagine, because they came to us and told us they wanted something in both real life and virtual. That doesn't happen often yet, but I'd love to see more clients in the future talk about how things can exist both in the real world and in virtual platforms.
And the cool thing about this is that our end goal with this is that people will be able to be at the physical structure, scan a QR code on their phone, go into the metaverse and land at that exact same structure in the metaverse, and then explore their digital version of their library and community space. So super cool on that. Another really great, exciting thing about this project is there's several locations in the metaverse that we've created for them. And one of them they liked so much that we actually had a meeting with their architects who are building a in-world real building, and it inspired them to change and do the building like we had made it in the metaverse. So there's a really great synergy going on there. So super hybrid, just to give you a little bit more understanding about what super hybrid is, we're currently in beta on this. We've done a lot of testing. It's amazingly fun to do, but to be able to be in the metaverse as an avatar and attend a conference like you are in today, attend a conference where you can just walk up to people who are real live physical people in the conference and start talking, and vice versa. So here you're really expanding your conference into a worldwide audience. And it's not just you're on one track, one person's streaming and the other person's having the physical experience, but we're blending that, the worlds, and that you'll be able to have a seamless interaction with people. So we're looking at this in several different ways. One of the ways is conferences and stuff, but what we're also going to do is we're going to be integrating this in different ways, the metaverse and stuff. So we talked a little bit about Anythink libraries and the sculpture. We have several permanent installations, and we're going to be adding these permanent installations to an Alt Ethos ticketed event experience, entertainment experience, where you actually pay a ticket, walk in, and you're walking around and having this complete otherworldly experience in the physical world. But we're going to connect that and our other physical installations to this experience and the metaverse. So then there's this real stickiness and real engagement going on that isn't just by location. It extends past that, and it expands past the idea of localized community and really builds community on a global level. So we want to thank you so much. And
yeah, and also, just before we come to we have a little ask of you, and I think you all will enjoy this. But one thing I like to talk to people about when they start getting nervous about, oh my gosh, metaverse is super hybrid. How do we get there? Again, from my last 10, my professional career has focused more away from these technologies, but I had to kind of ask myself that question recently, like, wait a minute, I embrace technology all the time. It is my cell phone. I have a smartphone that is constantly, I'm already in a whole nother world while I'm existing in this world. So if anybody's kind of worried about could that look like, we're already sort of playing with it. We're just going to make it way better, more engaging, and make it just something more exciting. So there's only one way we can get there, and that's where we're going to ask you, our wonderful audience, to open up your mind to the possibilities. Don't think technology and then immediately put up your defensive walls and say, well, that's not for me. I'm a sculptor, I'm a fabricator, I'm an architect. I don't know what that is. We really can get there. This last year and a half has taught us so much. I mean, we're all using Zoom now and all these other platforms to meet and discuss and talk virtually. Sometimes that can be for work. Sometimes it's with your family at home, or even your friends. I still get together with some friends who live all across the United States and over in Europe and South America, and we talk and we engage through this new platform because we got used to it. Humans can adapt. We can learn so much. So we hope that you will join Ethan and I and the rest of our team at Alt Ethos in taking a big leap into the future. We can get there together. And if we all start listening to one another, I know that we'll come up with the brilliant ideas that we need to build a more interesting, engaging, and fun world.
thank you, everyone. Have a great conference.
Yeah, enjoy the conference.